Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachah HaKodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to sincere and hopeful Akim of the elect, pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth. I'm the brother Chassai with Great Millstone Northwest coming back with another lesson. And as you can see, this is from space.com. And the title says Total Lunar Eclipse March 2025. When and where to see the next blood moon lunar eclipse. Now, as you see here, right, this paragraph here, or sentence, should I say, it says a total lunar eclipse will be seen across North America on the night of March 13th through the 14th, 2025, while parts of Europe will get a brief view. Now, the significance of this blood moon being that, blood moons and things of that nature are not things that are completely foreign. So brothers, having been in the truth for a cool little second, we've seen our fair share of blood moons. However, this is very interesting because the 13th, March 13th, is the Passover, the night of the Passover. Okay, so here it is, the night of the Passover. We have a blood moon. All right, so in my mind, I instantly thought of the blood of Yahweh Shai, being that was something that was required to be put on your your doorpost, your lintel, so on and so forth, and that would ensure that Yahweh Shai would pass over your dwelling place, your abode, your bayath, Salaki, and that angel of death wouldn't touch your firstborn or touch you, So this is very, very, very this is big, man. Being that, the Passover of 2025 being a blood moon. All right, it's gonna be a full moon. And along with that, it's a blood moon. All right. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility that the Heavenly Father, really start jacking up, these Babylonians 2/3 and even just regular heathen here in America on that night. The Most High could have it to where, history repeats itself, and you have, certain males, family members, just all across Babylon, the firstborn just die, go to sleep and not wake up. That's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's going to be very interesting to see what the Heavenly Father is going to do. All right, now, reading some of this article, it says, on the night of March 13th through 14th, 2025, a total lunar eclipse will be visible from Earth, and North America will be in the prime position for a spectacular event, which will also feature a blood moon. So not only is it going to be a blood moon, it's going to be a total lunar eclipse. And America, North America in particular, is going to be the focal point. All right, in which, the focal point of the destruction that's the day of the Lord, should I say. The focal point of the day of the Lord as far as destruction is America. Okay, so the Lord is showing signs. He's showing signs that point all toward the prophecies spoken of pertaining to America, being factual and actually coming to pass. Okay. It says lunar eclipses happen when Earth is between the sun and a full moon. During the event, the moon moves through Earth's umbra, the dark center of its shadow. The best views is, let me see. That's all I'm going to read. Most of this stuff is stuff brothers have heard before. All right, but the point being, is going to be a total lunar eclipse and a blood moon, in which the focal point of being able to observe these events in the sky, all right, is going to be America, all right, which America is the focal point of destruction pertaining to prophecy. All right, so this is very interesting, and once again, this is all happening on the night of the Passover, man. All right, if that's not a sign, I don't know what to tell you. All right, this is Leviticus 23 in verse 4. I'm gonna start at 4. It says, "These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons." All right, and as you see over here on the NLT side, it says Passover and Festival of Unleavened Bread. It says, "In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover." Okay, so the month, the new moon, not the new moon, excuse me, the new year comes in March this year. All right, it's not, we aren't in the new year, we're still in the dead of winter. All right, the new moon, or not the new moon, excuse me, I said it again, the new year is determined by the Passover. Okay, when the Passover rolls around, that's the start of the new year. All right. Um, it says, "In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover." Okay, so 14 days after the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Okay, it says, "And the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Unto Yahweh 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread." Okay, so going into the Passover, which is different than the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right, the Passover is just simply the night that the Lord Yahweh Shai passed over Egypt and pretty much put to death the firstborn of cattle and man pertaining to the Egyptians. All right, and then come the 15th day, all right, of that same month, is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, all right, which is a week long. All right, so let me real quick, let me grab this in Sirach. This is Sirach chapter 43, verse 6. It says, "He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world." All right, so the moon was created for us to be able to tell a form of time, which being the month. All right, you use the moon to calculate how far along in a month you are. All right, now in the case of IUIC, they claim that they believe that the new moon is the full moon. All right, and that's not right. The full moon is not the new moon. Okay, if you believe that, then your Passover dates is going to be wrong every time. Okay, because according to the scriptures, like we read, 14 days after the beginning of the month, the first month, that's when you hold the Passover. And logically, in through the process of observation and factually and actually holding the Passover the correct way, you find that on the full moon is when you hold the Passover. Okay, so Sirach 43 and verse 7, it says, "From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Okay, so when it's perfect, so like when it's perfect, meaning it's full of light. It's a full moon, and when it decreases back down to, it goes back to a waning crescent, which waning means you're decreasing. All right, it goes from that full moon where it's full of light, and then a week later it's going to be a waning crescent where you're going to have a little bit of light that shows, and then the very next week is going to be uh, a new moon, which you won't see it. Okay, but that's the process and the cycle that the moon goes through when it's at that full moon stage. All right, it's going to decrease in light, and then eventually increase to a full moon, and then decrease again. All right, it's a cycle. It's a clock. All right. It says the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully, and her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Okay, so the moon is an instrument. Okay, as it says. Okay, so being that the moon has a great importance, uh, for us here on Earth, us seeing that on a new moon, excuse me, on the Passover, 2025 this year is going to be a blood moon. That's a sign. Okay, that's a sign that the Lord is with us, and pretty much it's going to be a wrap for America. You know, um, jumping back to the scripts. This is Joel 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 30. It says, "The day of the Lord, Yahweh." It says, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke." Okay. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood. All right, blood moon. Before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. All right, that's a blood moon. All right. Verse 31 in the NLT, it says, "The sun will become dark and the moon will turn blood red before the great and terrible day of the Lord arrives." Okay, so before Yahweh Shah returns, it's you're gonna have the moon uh, turn red, in which we have seen this many a times. All right, blood moons over the course of our duration here in this truth. Brothers have seen many blood moons. All right, so being that you're gonna have a blood moon on the Passover, that's a major sign, man. It's a major sign. Verse 32, it says, "And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered, for in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh hath said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call." All right, and that's another thing too. That's why starting with the apostles and elders and the men of great millstone, priests and names of Yahweh, why Yahweh shines so much and so heavy, is because those names is the ticket to get up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like what use is it to be an Israelite? Believe you're an Israelite, preach the word, but you calling on Jesus Christ. All right, and you teaching that to your congregation. You wasting time, man. Okay, because when the Lord returns and you calling on Jesus Christ, that ain't gonna do shit for you. All right, so it's a waste of time believing in and calling on Jesus Christ, but you're an Israelite. You wasting time because when the Lord returns, He's not gonna be looking for no Israelite calling on Jesus Christ. All right, He's gonna be looking for Israelites that have been calling on Yahweh Yahweh Shai, believing in that. All right, maintaining their faith in that. All right, through the ups and the downs. Okay. Next precept. This is Exodus 12, and I'm gonna start at verse 20. Let me see. Let's see. Let me see where I want to start this at. 21. All right. This is Exodus 12 and 21. It says, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. So I'm gonna read that again, or read that in the NLT. Verse 22, it says, Drain the blood into a basin, then take a bundle of hyssop branches and dip it into the blood. Brush the hyssop across the top and sides of the door frame of your houses, and no one shall go out through the door until morning. All right. And now when we hold the Passover, symbolically we're doing all these things. All right, through faith. All right, we don't we don't have no lamb to slaughter and take and drain the blood and do all this thing. What we just read pertaining to the door frame and the lintel and so on and so forth. It's all through faith. Verse 23, it says, For the Lord Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. Okay, so this is everything that was taking place on the night of the Passover. You had the destroyer, all right, which was Yahweh Shai, that was going to come through and smite those who didn't have, the blood on their doorpost. Excuse me. All right, so it's going to be a lot of judgment that goes out this year with the Passover. Okay, it says, And ye shall observe this thing for ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when ye be come to the land which the Lord Yahweh will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, What mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshipped. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not an house where there was not one dead. All right, and I was talking to a brother about this. This could very well happen. Like I said in the beginning of this lesson, this could very well happen again, man. To where the Lord has, the firstborn male, whether it's of the cattle or of human or man, should I say, pass away. The night of the Passover. You can have this happen again. All right, because this is ancient. America is Egypt. All right, this is just a spiritual Egypt. All right, so the Lord can have this happen again, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Okay, and that's pretty much that on that. So the Lord can have that come to pass all over again, to where the night of the Passover is a whole bunch of people that just ended up giving up the ghost. All right, Esau and 2/3. Okay, but that would be very, 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 very interesting. If the Lord had that destruction come upon Esau, Edom, how it did the ancient Egyptians. All right, because the modern day Edomites are nothing more than the Egyptians of past. All right, spiritually, should I say? Okay. Second Ezra 15, verse 10, it says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. All right. So before we get up out of here, these plagues have to actually touch Babylon, which we see plagues touching Babylon. Okay. It says Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of plagues and devastating things that's going to cause this place to pretty much be in a state of decay. That's going to lead up to this place being completely dissolved via thermonuclear missiles. All right, but just as in ancient times, things was dire and crazy for us when we was physically in bondage in ancient Egypt, but the Heavenly Father made a way to where, he devastated, the lives of those Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians. It's going to be the same thing in this day and time where the Lord is going to, devastate, the lives of these Babylonians, these so-called Americans, Edomites in particular. All right. And, the Lord very well could have, a major judgment happen on these Egyptians come the night of the Passover. Being that the Passover is going to be it's going to be a lunar eclipse and a blood moon, man, which is very interesting. So, Abaratazah, the Lord be with us, and the Lord actually destroy our enemies and bring crucial judgment upon them the night of the Passover, man. All right. So, Abaratazah, this was an edifying lesson. Until next time, I say shalom.